I am Erik. My life began in darkness and exile. I chose courage over fear.
In the year 982, a man outlawed from Iceland refused to disappear. His name was Erik the Red. The wind over Iceland carried more than just salt and snow that year. It carried judgment. Erik had already lived a life marked by violence and exile. His father had been banished from Norway. Now Erik himself stood condemned for killing a man during a feud. In the Viking world, law was sacred, and exile was worse than prison. It meant you were cut off from protection, honor, and home. Most men would have faded into obscurity. Erik did the opposite. Instead of shrinking from the edge of the known world, he leaned into it. West. That was where the rumors pointed. Fishermen had spoken of distant lands sighted beyond the horizon, dark shapes beneath endless skies. No one knew what lay there. No maps showed it. The North Atlantic was a graveyard of ships, a freezing chaos of storms, fog, and drifting ice. But exile gave Erik something powerful. Nothing left to lose. He gathered a crew and set sail into waters that swallowed the sun and sky. The sea was merciless. Waves crashed like mountains collapsing. Ice floes drifted silently, waiting to crush wooden hulls. The cold bit into flesh and spirit alike. Days turned into weeks. Then, through the mist, they saw it. A massive landmass rising from the sea, jagged mountains wrapped in white, glaciers pouring toward the ocean like frozen rivers. It was beautiful. It was terrifying. It was real. Erik had found what no Norseman had claimed before: Greenland. But here is where Erik's genius revealed itself. The island was not green. Much of it was locked under ice. Winters would be brutal, crops would struggle, survival would demand relentless strength. So why call it Greenland? Because Vikings understood something timeless. A bold vision needs a bold name. Erik knew that if he returned to Iceland and told settlers about an Iceland Part 2, no one would follow him. But Greenland, that sounded like opportunity. Fertile fields, fresh starts, a second chance. When his exile ended, Erik sailed back east, not as a defeated outlaw, but as a visionary. He told stories of wide fjords, grassy valleys sheltered between mountains, lands waiting to be claimed. He spoke not of ice, but of possibility. And people listened. In 985, a fleet of ships set out from Iceland. Families, livestock, tools, dreams, all packed into wooden vessels, braving one of the most dangerous stretches of ocean on Earth. Not all of them made it. Storms scattered the fleet. Some ships vanished into the Atlantic forever. Others turned back. But those who survived reached the southwestern coast of Greenland and began something extraordinary. They built settlements. The most famous was Brattahlid, Erik's own estate. There, against impossible odds, they raised cattle and sheep. They farmed narrow strips of land during short summers. They hunted seals and walrus. They traded ivory from walrus tusks with Europe. They carved a life from the edge of the world. Over time, their society grew. Two main settlements formed: the Eastern Settlement and the Western Settlement. At their peak, perhaps a few thousand Norse settlers lived there. They built homes of turf and stone to trap heat against the Arctic cold.